want to share with you a couple of resources of what you could take advantage of, what you could start looking into right now to find that job now, or even if not right now, to just kind of bookmark this to consider and keep for the future when you are looking for your first job. So the first thing that I want to point into your direction, because I believe you're all under the age of 18, are some government programs. So there are two government programs that are out there that actually, one program, so Youth Job Connection Summer, this program specifically provides young people with training, so pre-employment training, and then matches them with a job placement. And so this would be either over the summer months or part-time over the school year. And so you can actually click this link when you get the slide and see what service providers offer this program. So like YMCAs offer this, some City of Toronto programs offer this. And so the value of knowing these government programs is that if you feel a bit stuck and you don't know where to go, then this program, Youth Job Connection Summer, can give you not only a placement opportunity, like connect you to a job, but also give you the training that you need to have those pre-employment skills like resume building, interview prep, different job searching engines, so that you are ready when you start the job. So that's one, and it's a completely free program, and you're also paid. So you're paid for the pre-employment training, and you're also paid for the placement, like they find a paid job for you. The second government program is Canada Summer Jobs. So this, you'll see some positions that hire in the summer will have the word Canada Summer Jobs beside it. And that's how you know that these organizations are taking funding from the government to specifically hire for the summer. And what's really great about this is it's not just a hire for the summer, it's to hire young and new people into jobs to give them their first work experience. So the Canada Summer's job is all about equipping, the employers to hire new and young folks to be able to have that first work experience. So a lot of people get their first job through Canada Summer's jobs. And even myself, when I was a student way back in the day, I got my very first job through a Canada Summer's job program. So these are two government programs, again, completely free, and they connect you with work opportunities. Canada Summer Jobs is specifically like you can search for Canada Summer Jobs like on your search engine, and it'll show other like organizations that have this funding. Another good resource to find jobs is your local community centers for a couple of different reasons. So City of Toronto and YMCAs. So why I mentioned these two organizations, or the city in which you reside. Every city that we live in has like, City of Markham, or in York region, or even in Durham region, there's a free cities community center. And so why I say a city job or working at like a rec center like the YMCA is that they hire a lot of young people and are often a lot of people's first jobs. So they take in they have a lot of entry-level positions, and they have a lot of seasonal positions as well. So jobs that would match kind of where you are as a student. So whether you're a high school student or going into post-secondary, there's a lot of flexibility in the types of jobs that are offered at a community center, whether that's at your local city or at like a recreation center like the YMCA. Another reason why I also bring up the city and the why is that they often have community boards, and in their community board, so that could be in the physical space, and I would imagine they transition to have sort of virtual board on their websites where they also post other positions that are in the community that are also meant for young folks as well. And so the city and the YMCA is a very great, when you think about like, summer camp jobs, that's where a lot of young people get their very first work experience. And what's also really great is that when you start with the city or when you start with the YMCA part-time, as you continue to build your, part-time career with them, opportunities for full-time jobs may appear. And also other internal job postings may show only for those who are part of the city or part of the YMCA that other people might not see on an external facing website. And so when you start at jobs like big organizations like the city or other community centers, recreation places, not only do they hire a lot of young people and are a lot of people's first work experience, when you stay there, even if you just go there for the summers, you're part of the database and you now will have access to a bigger pool of jobs in the future. So in the short term, you might not see the long-term effect, but then there are long-term outcomes. And then another example that I give sorry, Kieran, do you have a question? I saw that you unmute yourself. No? No? Okay. All good. If you have questions, feel free to unmute or like put your question in the chat. But another community center that I think of as well, that's a great resource, is your local community organization. So this could be like, you know, if there is like it could be like a place of worship. It could be just another community organization with like-minded folks, and using those spaces as also opportunities for you to, you know, connect with other people to learn about what other jobs are available, and also, you know, put the word out that you're interested for a job. And so when you connect with, like, you know, in your place of worship, or even like, you know, if it was like a South Asian association that like your parents are a part of, or, you know, you have family or friends are a part of, or even in your high school, if you're part of like an association or a club, using that as also an opportunity to see what other jobs are out there. So community centers are a really good resource to look for your first job, but also to have your first job in. Another good resource is search engines. So I know a very popular search engine is Indeed, but there are better search engines out there than Indeed that, if you know this now, when you're looking for jobs, not just your short-term job, but even long-term jobs, you'll know the other kind of added benefits that come with it. So LinkedIn is a great resource to search for jobs. A lot of employers are actually posting they do post their positions on LinkedIn, and you can actually apply to LinkedIn for jobs on LinkedIn directly on the website. But the only catch with LinkedIn is that you do have to be of a certain age. I believe it's 16. It could be between 16 to 18. But if you're within that age range, then you're able to use LinkedIn as an opportunity to search for jobs, and it's updated. That's what's really important. When you want to use good search engines, like for jobs that constantly update their postings, because the issue with Indeed is that they have expired postings sometimes. And also Indeed doesn't ask for a lot of requirements from an employer. So there might be some important information that is missed out on an Indeed job posting, like the wage, the salary, you know, maybe key additional like skills and qualifications that you might need. And so it has a lot of missing information, but places like LinkedIn will have a lot more information that will let you know that, like, yes, I can apply for it, but also how you might use that information in your resume. Another really good resource is a government governed search engine called jobbank.gc.ca. So again, this one has more updated job postings, and what's really cool about this search engine is that you can search for a job based on industry or title in different regions. So you could search for in Toronto, or in, like, you know, York region, or in Durham. And then the added benefit of using Job Bank is that it gives you additional information, not just about the job position, but also about the job prospect. So it gives you, based on a rating of like 3 stars, it tells you like this industry is in demand right now. So in 3 stars will be like, yes, this is a hot job, like this is an in-demand field. 2-star ratings is, you know, it's okay, but it's not like really in demand. And 1-star rating might be like, hey, it's not in demand right now, but it can also tell you when it might, kind of based on like previous labor market trends, when it might surge up again. So this is a good, you know, search engine, not just to look for a job right now, but also to look for a career in the future, to get an idea. If you're not sure what you want to, where you want to study, or like, you know, what you want to be doing, then looking at Job Bank and, you know, looking at the different industries and seeing what the prospect is and the number of jobs that are available might just be a good tool to have in your back pocket as you are making those big life decisions. Another really good job search engine, and a search engine that is good for a very first job as well, is Charity Village. So Charity Village is actually a search engine that just has non-for-profit positions. So non-for-profit typically are typically they hire a lot of entry-level positions, and also are a lot of people's first jobs. And so Charity Village is a really good website to look specifically in this industry. You know, if you really want to be part of community, or you really like the work that you're doing in school and in your clubs, then maybe working in non-for-profit or in community spaces might be aligned with some skill sets that you have. And again, this would kind of like a City of Toronto or YMCA or your local recreation center, or even any sport club that's non-for-profit, you might find those job postings all under Charity Village. So you don't have to look at the specific company's website through Charity Village. You can just see all the different options in one space. So those are just some examples of good search engines. Not sure if there's any questions that's come up.
Sorry, Tanuja does have a question.
Yeah, what's the question?
Sorry, I have 2 questions, but
yeah.
My first one is, so like one concern that I have, and I feel like a lot of my friends and people my age have right now, is we're not really able to get like volunteer hours and like job opportunities during like the pandemic, because there's not a lot of opportunities available. So I was just wondering if you know any like virtual or online volunteer opportunities or jobs that we can apply to as teens.
That is a great question. So I don't know specifically of like a volunteer opportunity that you could apply to online, but some really good things to do that is in the essence of volunteering would be to participate in like advocacy or like community-based causes, like in forums, or participating in workshops. So the next, actually that kind of is lined up with the next section I'm going to talk about, with resources of different things that you could do online that will still give you that well-rounded resume, that will still allow you to have experiences. So joining like a program. So Toronto Public Library, for example, they have a bunch of resources for career development. So this could look like circle conversations, so where you're part of like an active discussion, or participating in a workshop and then being active through the chats in that way. Toronto Public Library also, I think after you reach the age of 15, you're able to access a job coach. So someone like myself to give you more like tailored support in how do you find your first job. The YMCA, for example, they are hosting virtual workshops and virtual workshops on different topics in employment. So that could be another space for you to also get some more information how to stay, how to stay current and how do you stay involved. Another employment agency, Youth Employment Services, they also run virtual workshops. And then the other organization is kind of aligned with that piece of like, how do you stay active as a volunteer when you can't like go into a space? So the Canadian Council for Youth Prosperity is all about youth advocacy work and bringing like youth together to on various important causes. And so they have a lot of paid and like unpaid opportunities for youth to kind of get that volunteer experience through their programs. So I think Canadian Council for Youth Prosperity might be a really I think directly relevant for teens. And so for like, Thaninja, for your question, so that might be a good space. But I would also like add, when you think about volunteering in the traditional sense, is you going to an organization and offering your time. How can you do that same type of work on your own platforms? So taking social media or your professional, social platform as an example to do some volunteering. So whether that's educating on an important cause that you're passionate about and doing some work there. And then I would put that on your resume as a type of volunteer work experience. So you can volunteer and work, like your work experience doesn't mean you have to have worked for somebody for that to count as a work experience. It's you demonstrating a skill set and doing that over a length of time, and you being able to talk about action steps that you've taken, results of like the things that you've posted online, and just being able to work that as an interview answer. So as we move into like this COVID and virtual world, I think what we'll see as traditional job experiences will also change.
Thank you so much. That was very helpful. And another quick question is it possible if you could share this specific slide with us after?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do that.
So much.
You can, no worries. So you can click on the links.
Got it.
Awesome. Is there another question? I don't know if there's another one.
I was just wondering if Charity Village also counted as like volunteer hours. I don't know if you know or not, but like do like volunteering for charities and nonprofits count as volunteer hours?
For sure, yeah. So Charity Village is just a search engine. So under Charity Village will be like all of the different like non-for-profits, like YMCA. At my day job, I work at a sports center called MLC Launchpad. So all of those job postings would fall under Charity Village. And what I would encourage you to do is every non-for-profit has some contact person for volunteer. So I would even connect with who the volunteer person is and inquire what are some ways that you talk about like your passion or alignment for like that company, and what are some ways for you to get involved in a volunteer capacity. And so you'll never know. Like I think a lot of organizations had to pivot and think creatively in how to engage with people, and especially with young people. So I would for sure reach out to organizations like non-for-profit organizations or community organizations and see like what are some ways that, and just put the question on them and ask them what are some ways that you can volunteer virtually.
Definitely. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah, no worries. And also just like some things you think about like YMCAs and non-for-profits is a lot of them have youth committees. So you think about like this iLead program, right? This is a program that you've like signed up for, but a lot of community organizations have like youth advisory councils. So the Toronto Public Library has one, YMCAs have teen councils. What's it? So at MLSE Launchpad, we have a youth advisory council where every year we're hiring like for, not hiring, but like interviewing for about 20 positions for young people to come and volunteer their voice and their time. So that can be another way of volunteering as well. So the Canadian Council for Youth Prosperity also has a bunch of those type of roles. And also you can see maybe other connections that they have to other councils in the city.
Well, thank you. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, good questions.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so Tanuja's question led me, and Tanuja and Mayura's question led me to answer or share kind of these different resources. So I would look into their websites once you get this slide, and then just see what workshops or committees or groups that you could be a part of to, again, refine those skill sets and have that on your resume and get an idea of like what it is and where it is that you want to go. And the last thing that I want to end on for this second component are just some first jobs to look for. Obviously, in a COVID world, some of these might not be as available, but definitely as things change, these are really great first jobs to have. So fast food, customer service, retail, and recreations and sport. So I know fast food and retail are more reliant being in person, but I just want to emphasize the importance of having fast food or working at retail as a first job. So I was told when I was kind of like learning all about this, job coaching and all of this, that an employer highly regards a resume or an applicant that has a fast food work experience, like McDonald's, for example. So we think of McDonald's, we think of like, oh, this is like not that, like it's not really relevant in terms of skills because you're just kind of behind the cash or you're making the food. But a lot of employers, if they see you've worked at McDonald's or another fast food restaurant, they regard that as something quite positive. And the reason being is that one, the type of training that you get at McDonald's to be able to deal with, a variety of different types of customers, to work in a fast-paced environment, to be able to work under pressure, to be able to adhere to all the protocols and trainings that McDonald's has, really showcases the skill set. And so I think a lot of times we focus on the job title and we don't focus on the job experience, because the title sometimes is not even really relevant to what it is that you want to do. A title can be a title, but the work you do under that title is what really makes you stand out and what you should be focusing on when you're in your first job. So even if it's fast food, you think about this experience you're getting. So the types of customers and peoples you get to work with, the type of skill sets that you develop to be able to think critically or on your feet. Those are types of skill sets that you want from a first job. And so working in places as fast food or retail shouldn't be overlooked. A really good first job that I think is you're able to have in a COVID world, customer service. So now it's moved, a lot of this is moved digitally. So you're able to even do customer service work at home. So whether that's like on as a call center, and I think you had someone come in a previous session to talk about customer service. So very, still very good as a first job. And then recreation and sports. So a lot of like community spaces like, the YMCA, even like the organization I work with at my day job, at Launchpad, or even like a Boys and Girls Club, they've moved a lot of their programming to virtual. And so they have part-time staff come and facilitate their virtual physical activity programs. So, YMCA, the city that you live in, like those spaces, rec spaces, those are really good first jobs to have because you get to work with a large number of people. You're working with like kids of all different ages. You have to work with different staff. There's lots of activities and daily things that you're encountering. These are all great first jobs to have because it gives you those skills that we talked about in the first component of this presentation that will help you get that first job and help you continue to move closer to whatever your career or your employment goal is.